Right now at 6 o'clock, thousands of people here in the Charlotte area and across the country rallied at No Kings protest, speaking out against the Trump administration. Thank you so much for joining us on WCNC Plus at 6 o'clock. I'm Siobhan Riley. We started uptown where hundreds gathered at First Ward Park, some with signs, others with drums, but they all carried something personal. They took their message to the streets of uptown. For many, this wasn't just a protest, it was a declaration. Their reasons for showing up may have been different, but their mission all the same.
No one is saying that we shouldn't have strong borders and that we shouldn't get criminals out, but they're taking U.S. citizens. They're taking people legally allowed to be here.
The majority of people are not happy with the policies of the Trump administration and his push towards authoritarianism.
I think more and more people are going to continue to mobilize.
And many at that protest say their silence has cost far too much for far too long. Now they are calling for change, not just in policy, but in leadership. And these protests also happening in Iredell County this afternoon. WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith heard from people who came out sharing why they're speaking out against the Trump administration.
The sound of courage met with the sound of hope. A sign that fulfills the Statesville No Kings protest event organizers' overall goal.
To see and be seen.
While some stood on the corners of Front and Center streets holding up their opposing beliefs, Peggy Palmer, protest organizer, says she's glad people kept community in mind.
We all believe in the Constitution. We love our system of government, and we don't want to see it dismantled. You know, we want to keep things not the way they are. We want to improve, and we want to have a more progressive agenda that pulls in more people.
Some protesters say Saturday's demonstration meant everything to them due to the sacrifices their families have made.
Most people are privileged and they don't realize that. They grew up having everything. Our people sacrificed everything just to come here to give us a better life, and they don't know what that feels like.
The protests remained at the heart of Statesville from 11 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon, where a mixture of concerns were expressed for the future and present-day America.
We have a lot to protect here, that we do not need the dismantling of the Department of Education. Special needs services such as speech therapy and occupational therapy, a lot of insurances do not cover those services, and people who can afford them are still paying thousands of dollars out of pocket. So those who are living in the poverty level, definitely their children are going to miss out on early intervention services, which could help their child succeed in the future. These are our future citizens of this state and this country.
We were a lot younger, but now we're actually the age where we're allowed to speak our voices, be the people out there protesting, showing our point of view. Like, I just think it makes it that much more better because we're actually here and we're able to do something now. And like, having had lived what we lived when we were little, that fear, we're using that fear here to show up and be the voice for the people that can't use their voice.
Protesters all throughout Front and Center streets say their hope is that events like this can serve as a platform for justice for all. In Statesville, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
And WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre traveled to several cities in the Carolinas and shows us the demonstrations there.
From the streets of Waxhaw to Monroe to Rock Hill, South Carolina, the message has been growing with every mile, and the voice is getting louder with folks demanding change. The No Kings movement is more than a slogan.
This administration is pushing too many boundaries.
Supporters came with signs, chants, and convictions.
Love, not hate, makes America great.
From cities to small towns, a growing wave of voices pushing back against power they say don't represent them.
Immigration is a big one. The cuts to all of the federal government, the agencies, and the lack of accountability for the President of the United States.
Supporters say this is a fight for democracy, and they're fighting back against what they are calling political overreach.
Now, our president has unleashed the military in one of our nation's largest cities. He has given the military the ability to arrest civilians. as a freedom-loving patriot. That scares people.
What matters to me is just that people are treated with dignity and that they get their chance to have due process and just treated right.
The protest in Waxhaw and Monroe Union County.
No Kings!
Drawing hundreds. Over in Rock Hill, thousands, all united under one mission.
You know, we have diversity out here. We have every walk of life out here. We have people who want to fight for our country and our rights.
Jessie Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
We brought you live coverage of these rallies and other rallies across the country live all afternoon inside the WCNC Plus app. Be sure to download it so you don't miss live breaking coverage as it happens.